Okay, I want you to try a little experiment with me.
All right.
It's going to feel a bit weird, but just go with it for a second. Close your eyes. I want you to visualize a really chaotic, vivid memory.
Okay.
Maybe a family dinner where everyone's talking at once, or maybe a busy intersection in the rain.
Okay, I've got one. A subway station during rush hour.
Perfect. Now freeze that image. In your head right now, it's all happening at once, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got the screech of the brakes, the smell of the air, the color of the tiles, the person bumping into you. It's a single, multi-dimensional explosion of information. It's like a cloud.
It's all simultaneous. It's just there.
Exactly. Now here's the problem. Open your mouth and describe it to me.
A train arrived loudly
Yeah.
while.
And there it is, the bottleneck. To get that 3D cloud out of your head and into mine, you have to force it through a 1D line.
You can only make one sound at a time.
You have to serialize it.
It's the fundamental restriction of being human, really. We're time-bound. We have to speak in a sequence. One word, then the next.
But who decides the sequence? I mean, that's the million-dollar question. Why do I say the red car honked? Why not honked car ritz?
Is it just habit? Culture?
Or, and this is where we get into the matrix of it all, is it just geometry?
That is the question we are tackling today on this deep dive.
We're looking at a really fascinating, dense piece of linguistic theory. It's titled Linear Order and the Bare Phrase Structure Theory. We're digging into excerpts from Chapter 4 to try and figure out the hidden rules that force our words into line.
And I have to say, this research completely flips the script on how we usually think about language.
How so?
We tend to think that word order is the main event, you know? Learning a language is just learning where to put the verb.
Right, syntax 101, subject, verb, object.
But this source material argues that deep down, in the actual computation engine of your brain, order doesn't exist.
Hold on. That's a huge claim to start with. You're saying when I just thinking a thought before I speak, there is no before or after.
That's the hypothesis. The text suggests the core system, what linguists call the computation from numeration to logical form, is totally order-free. It's just a web of connections.
Like a mind map or something.
Exactly. Or think of a mobile hanging over a baby's crib. You've got all these shapes connected by strings. You can spin it, look at it from different angles, but there's no first shape or last shape. They just are.
So the thought itself is the mobile, but speech is, what, flattening it?
You got it. Order is just an interface patch. It's an engineering constraint we apply at the very last second so our vocal cords don't get tied in knots.
That's wild. It suggests that if we were telepathic, we might not have grammar as we know it.
We wouldn't need it.
But since we do have to use sound, we need a system. And that brings us to the core of this. We're not just talking about subject, verb, object. We're talking about why you can say pick up the book, but you absolutely cannot say pick up it.
And that specific example, that pick up it glitch, is actually the key that unlocks this whole mystery. It's not a style choice. It's a mathematical crash in the brain's software.
I love a good system failure. But before we get to the crash, we need to understand the old way of thinking. Before this bare phrase structure came along, how did linguists think we decided word order?
Well, for a long time, the dominant idea was something called the head parameter.
A head parameter.
Yeah, think of it like a toggle switch in the brain's settings menu.
A switch for what?
For where you put the head of a phrase. And the head is just the main word, the one that gives the phrase its meaning. So in eat apples, the verb eat is the head.
Okay, the action is the head. Makes sense.
All right. So in English, we're head initial. We put the verb first, eat apples. The switch is flipped to start.
What in Japanese?
Japanese is head final. They say ringo o tabaru, apples eat. The verb comes last. So their switch is flipped to end.
So the old theory was that every baby is born with this switch, and based on what they hear, they just flip it one way or the other.
Precisely. And this connects to a concept in our text from a linguist named Fukui. He proposed that this switch determines the flow of a river, let's say. If you move words in the direction of your switch-like moving left in a head final language, it's cost-free, it's easy.
You're just going with the current.
Exactly. But if you try to move words against that direction, it's expensive. The brain has to use extra processing power. The text uses terms like greed or last resort.
So the brain is lazy.
Basically, yeah. You only swim upstream if you absolutely have to. It's an economy of thought.
I like that. But our source material is challenging this whole framework, right? Because if the core brain has no order.
You spotted it. That's the contradiction. If the deep structure has no linear order, no left or right, then you can't have a head initial or head final switch.
The terms are meaningless.
Right. Initial and final don't exist yet.
So if there's no switch, how does the brain decide what comes first?
This brings us to a really radical alternative from Richard Kane, which is all over our source text. It's called the LCA, the linear correspondence axiom.
Sounds like something from a physics textbook.
It kind of acts like physics for words. Kane's big idea was that hierarchy translates directly to order.
Okay, break that down for me.
Go back to that mobile over the crib. Some pieces are higher up, right? They hold the other pieces.
Sure.
Or think of a corporate org chart. CEO at the top, managers in the middle. Kane says the brain takes that vertical tree structure and just projects it onto a horizontal line.
So higher up in the tree equals spoken earlier in the sentence.
Roughly, yeah. The technical term is asymmetric command. If one part of the sentence structure is geometrically higher and kind of looks down on another part, it gets to go first. The general speaks before the private.
Height equals priority. That seems elegant.
It is, and here's the bombshell implication of that theory. If geometry dictates order, and human brains all share the same basic geometry,
We should all be speaking the same way.
we should all be SVO, subject, verb, object.
Oh, wait. Even Japanese, you just said they were head final.
Under this new theory, deep down, yes, even they are SVO. The idea is that the underlying structure of all human language is universal SVO.
Wow.
So when you hear a language like Japanese that sounds different, it's just because things have been moved around after the initial structure was built.
That's a massive unification. It's saying there's really only one human language code. We all think in SVO.
It's a beautiful idea, a universal grammar in the truest sense, but there's always a problem.
Of course.
Kane developed this using an older map of grammar called X-bar theory.
X-bar theory. Sounds like a secret club.
It was very detailed. It was like a map with every single street named. You had noun phrases and verb phrases and so on.
And our source text is using bare phrase structure.
Right, which is the minimalist update. It strips away all the labels. There's no noun phrase. There's just the word ket. It's stripping the engine down to its bare parts.
So the big question is, does this universal SVO idea still work if we take away the labels?
And the answer from the text is yes. Mostly. But it creates a glitch. A massive glitch that happens when you use very simple words.
Ah, this is my favorite part. The part that explains why simple words are so surprisingly difficult.
It's not just difficult, it's a geometric paradox. Let's try to visualize it. In bare phrase structure, you merge two words. Let's say a verb and a pronoun, see and him.
See him. Simple enough.
Well, in the old theory, him had a label, noun phrase, that gave it structure, made it a branch on the tree. But in bare phrase structure, him is just him. It's a single point, a dot.
And see is also a dot.
Exactly. So you have two dots connected by a line. Geometrically, they're identical. They're symmetrical.
Okay, I see the problem. If the rule is the higher one goes first, but they're both just dots on the same level.
The system hangs. The LCA looks at C and him and it just says, I cannot determine which one is higher. I can't assign an order.
It's a tie.
It's a fatal error. The text says the derivation crashes. The brain literally cannot figure out how to send the signal to your mouth. You can't speak it.
But I just said, see him. We say it all the time, so clearly we're not all crashing. How do we get around the error?
We cheat. We use movement.
We move one of the dots.
We have to. The text proposes that when the symmetry problem happens, the complement, the simple word, it must run away. It has to raise up out of that position to a different spot.
So him moves. But doesn't that just leave a blank spot?
It leaves a trace, a silent ghost of where it used to be. And here's the clever hack. The text says the ordering software, the LCA, it ignores traces. It can't see them.
Oh, that's sneaky. So by moving him, the brain looks back at the original spot, sees nothing but a ghost, and says, okay, symmetry broken. The verb is the only thing left. Verb goes first.
Exactly. You break the tie by moving one of the pieces. And this mechanic, this need to move simple words, explains some of the weirdest quirks in language.
Let's get to the evidence. The text brings up French, right?
Yes, Romance languages are a great playground for this. In French, think about the word for the or it, le or la. These are tiny, simple words.
They're dots on the map.
And they cause the crash if they stay put. That's why in French, they have to move. They become clitics. They jump over and attach to the verb. You don't say, j'ai vu le, I have seen it. You say, je l'ai vu, it have seen.
Because lo is too simple to stand its ground.
It's too simple to be a complement. It has to flee the scene to survive the ordering process. But compare that to a complex word like lui-même himself.
Okay.
That word has internal parts, it has structure, it's not a dot, it's a shape.
So it has enough geometric weight to hold its position.
Exactly, so you don't have to move it. Louis Mem stays right where it is.
This makes sense of, I've struggled with this in English for years, the pickup rule.
It's the ultimate example of this theory in action.
So in English, we have phrasal verbs, right? Pick up, turn on. If I'm talking about a book, I can say, I picked up the book. Sounds fine.
Right. The book is a full phrase. It has the and book. It's complex. It has geometry. It can sit nicely next to up. No problem.
But if I replace the book with it,
I picked up it. Ugh. Yeah, it just sounds horrible. Sounds like a toddler or something. I picked up it.
it sounds wrong because it is wrong. It's a system crash. It is a simple terminal. It's a dot. If you leave it next to up, they're too symmetrical. The brain can't order them.
So it has to move.
It has to initiate the emergency protocol. It jumps over the word up and lands in the middle. I picked it up.
And now the symmetry is broken and the sentence flows.
It's not a stylistic preference. We don't say I picked it up because it sounds nicer. We say it because the alternative is mathematical gibberish to our internal processor.
That is mind-blowing. We're doing high-speed geometric evasions every time we speak. But wait, I think I see a hole.
Hit me.
That. Yeah. I can say I picked at that and it sounds totally fine. But that is a single word, just like it. Why does that get to stay put?
Now you're thinking like a linguist. Don't tell me that is secretly complex.
It has to be, right? You nailed it. The source text argues that that and this are deceptively complex. Structurally, that isn't just a pronoun. It's a determiner plus a kind of residue adjective.
Hidden gear.
Exactly. Think of it as pointing. When you say that, you're implicitly saying that thing. Because it has that hidden internal structure, it breaks the symmetry. It doesn't cause a crash. It can stay at the end. I picked up that. No movement required.
It's incredible that we intuitively know this. No one taught me that that is complex and it is simple. I just feel it.
It's the firmware we come installed with. The text actually gives a great example from Irish to back this up.
Oh, right. The Anson example.
Yes. In Irish, the word for the is an. It's a simple little clitic, just like in French. But the word for that, as in that house, is ansin.
Anson. So it's literally two parts on the surface.
Right. In Irish, the complexity is visible. In English, with that, it's hidden in the word's history. But the brain treats them the same.
There was one more example from Spanish that was really telling about the word de.
Right. From Esther Torrega's work. In Spanish, de means. Usually you need it. Cerca de la plaza. Near to the plaza.
Yeah.
But Spanish sometimes lets you drop the de. You can just say cerca de la plaza, near the plaza. The grammar is flexible.
Sure.
But try it with a pronoun. Ella means her. You can say cerca de ella, near to her. But can you drop the de? Can you say cerca ella?
I'm guessing no.
Absolutely not. It's forbidden.
Why? Ella looks like a substantial word.
It looks like it, but the theory suggests ella has a complex internal structure that traps the grammar. It refuses to merge smoothly with cerca unless de is there to act as a bridge.
So again, it's all about whether the word is a simple block or a complex structure.
It's all geometry. The content, a plaza, person, doesn't matter. Only the shape of the word.
We have to touch on one last category. Adjuncts, the extra stuff. Adjectives, adverbs. The red book.
Yeah.
How do they fit into this rigid geometry?
This is where the text admits things get a little fuzzy.
Fuzzy isn't great for geometry.
No, it's not. In Keynes' original theory, it was strict. Adjuncts are always higher in the tree, so they must always be spoken before the thing they modify.
So red book. Red is higher. Red comes first.
Right. But in French, you say livre rouge, book red. So Keynes would say the noun had to move past the adjective.
And what does the new bare phrase structure say?
It struggles. Because we stripped away the labels, it's harder to define exactly how an extra word attaches. The text gets into some deep weeds about segments and disconnection.
We can skip the weeds. What's the takeaway?
The takeaway is that the intuition still holds, even if the math is harder. The hierarchy still tries to dictate the order. We place adjectives and adverbs based on where they sit in the logic tree, and that height determines when they get spoken.
So to bring this all back together, we started with a brain that thinks in unordered clouds of meaning.
Right.
To speak, we have to flatten that cloud into a line. And to do that, we use a universal geometric filter, subject, verb, object.
A filter that seems to be hard-coded into us.
But because the filter's imperfect, it crashes when it sees simple symmetrical words. So as a patch, we have to scramble those words around move them, hide them, stick them on other things, just to keep the speech flowing.
It paints a picture of language that's much more mechanical than artistic. We're not just expressing ourselves. We're solving a continuous engineering problem.
It really changes how you listen to people. When someone's stumbling over their words, maybe they're not nervous, maybe their geometry is just jamming.
It's a failure of linearization, that's all.
I want to go back to something you said at the very start. The idea that this order is only for the sound,
Yeah.
only for the output.
Yes, this is the thought that keeps me up at night.
If we didn't have mouths, if we were advanced AIs communicating by direct data transfer, or telepathic aliens.
If there's no sensorimotor manifestation, as the text calls it, then there's no need for linearization. There's no need for the LCA.
So would they even have grammar?
They'd have structure, sure. Concepts linked to concepts. But would they have subjects and objects? Would they have sentences? Or would they just communicate in these instantaneous, multidimensional bursts of pure meaning?
It suggests that language, as we know it, the nouns, verbs, word order, might just be a clumsy workaround for the fact that we can't read minds.
We're trapped in the timeline.
So our thoughts have to be trapped in lines too. Something to think about the next time you can't find the right words. Maybe the words aren't the problem. Maybe it's the line itself. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you in the next one.